Ever wondered why we put off tasks we know we need to do? It's a question that has likely crossed your mind as you find yourself scrolling through social media instead of finishing that report or cleaning the house. It's a phenomenon known as procrastination, and it's more common than you might think. Procrastination, in its simplest form, is the act of delaying or postponing tasks or actions. It's the invisible wall that stands between you and your to-do list, a wall that seems to grow taller the more you try to climb it. It's the nagging voice in the back of your head that whispers, "You can do it later," when you know full well that later may never come. Now, you might think, well, what's the harm in a little delay? But let's delve deeper. Procrastination can have a significant impact on your productivity. It can lead to rushed work, missed deadlines, and a never-ending cycle of stress and guilt. It's a thief that robs you of your time, a commodity that once lost can never be regained. But the damage isn't limited to your professional life. Procrastination can also stunt your personal growth. It can prevent you from learning new skills, forming good habits, and achieving your goals. It can keep you stuck in a rut, always planning but never executing. But here's the good news. Procrastination is not a life sentence. It's a hurdle, yes, but one that can be overcome. It's a battle, but one that can be won. It's a habit, but like all habits, it can be broken. Just think about the words of Mark Twain. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. Procrastination is the adversary of starting. But once we recognize it for what it is, we can start to take steps to defeat it. So how can we overcome this daunting challenge? Keep listening to find out. In the upcoming segments, we'll explore strategies to acknowledge and understand procrastination. Set realistic goals, prioritize tasks, break them down into manageable chunks, and reward yourself for your progress. Stay tuned as we embark on this journey to conquer procrastination and reclaim control of our time and lives. Step 1. Acknowledge your habit of procrastination. Now, this might sound simple, but it's often the most challenging part of the journey. You see, acknowledging that we have a habit of procrastination is like admitting to ourselves that we have a problem, and that's not always easy to do. Imagine you're in a rowboat with a tiny hole in the bottom. The boat is slowly filling with water, but you're too busy admiring the sunset to notice. Until you acknowledge the hole, you're not going to start bailing out the water, let alone fix the hole. In the same way, until we recognize and admit that we're procrastinators, we're not going to take steps to overcome it. We'll just keep on doing what we're doing, wondering why we're not moving forward. Psychologist Dr. Albert Ellis, a name many of you might recognize, believed that self-awareness is the first step towards change. He argued that before we can change our behavior, we must first recognize and accept that our current behavior is problematic. So if we want to overcome procrastination, acknowledging it is the first crucial step. Now, acknowledging procrastination doesn't mean beating ourselves up about it, quite the opposite. It's about understanding our behavior without judgment. It's about looking at our actions objectively and saying, yes, I have a habit of putting things off, and that's okay. It's not a character flaw, it's a habit, and habits can be changed. But remember, acknowledgement is more than just saying, I'm a procrastinator. It's about recognizing when and why we procrastinate. It's about understanding our triggers and patterns. So take a moment. Think about the times when you've put things off. What were you feeling? What were you thinking? Understanding this is a crucial part of the acknowledgement process. Without acknowledging it, overcoming procrastination is impossible. So, let's start there. Let's acknowledge our habit of procrastination and take the first step towards overcoming it. After all, it's not about perfection, it's about progression. And every journey, no matter how long, begins with a single step. Step 2. Understand why you procrastinate. Now, this is crucial. We're not here to point fingers or pass judgments. We're here to explore, understand, and conquer procrastination. Let's start by unraveling the common reasons why people procrastinate. One such reason is the fear of failure. It's a human thing, really. We fear that our efforts might not yield the results we desire, and so we hesitate, we delay, we procrastinate. But remember, As the great Michael Jordan once said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed." Another common reason is perfectionism. We often wait for that perfect moment, the perfect mood, or the perfect idea to get started. But here's a reality check. Perfection is a mirage. It's the pursuit of excellence that truly matters, so let's strive for progress, not perfection. Then there's the lack of motivation. We've all been there, haven't we? We know we need to do something, but we just don't feel like doing it. Well, motivation is not a constant, it ebbs and flows. The key is to start. As Mark Twain wisely put it, the secret of getting ahead is getting started. Understanding your personal why is essential. Is it fear? Is it perfectionism? Or is it a lack of motivation? You might even have a unique reason of your own. But remember, it's not about blaming yourself, it's about understanding yourself. Because once you identify your why, you can start addressing it. Just like in a game of chess, understanding your opponent's moves helps you strategize better. Similarly, understanding why you procrastinate helps you devise effective strategies to overcome it. So let's confront our why and let's conquer it. Identifying your why brings clarity and aids in finding a solution. Step 3. Set achievable, realistic goals. Now this is where the magic begins. Imagine this. You're standing at the base of a mountain, looking up at its peak. It's so far away, it seems impossible to reach. That's how big tasks can feel when we're faced with them. It's this overwhelming sensation that often leads to procrastination. But what if we break that mountain into smaller hills, each one a manageable climb? Suddenly, the journey doesn't seem so daunting. This is the essence of setting smaller, achievable goals. It's about taking that mountain and breaking it down into hills, then into rocks, and then into pebbles. Each pebble is a small task that you can complete one at a time. The importance of setting smaller, achievable goals cannot be overstated. It's a concept that self-improvement guru Tony Robbins often emphasizes. He advocates for the SMART goal-setting technique. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Specific goals have a clear, defined objective. A measurable goal is quantifiable, so you can track your progress. An achievable goal is realistic and within your abilities. A relevant goal aligns with your broader life objectives, and a time-bound goal has a deadline. Let's apply this to a common goal, getting fit. Instead of vaguely deciding to get fit, a SMART goal would be, I will walk for 30 minutes every day after dinner for the next 2 weeks. It's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Setting such goals not only makes the task seem less overwhelming, but also gives you a clear path to follow. Each small success brings a sense of achievement and motivates you to keep going. And remember, it's okay to adjust your goals along the way. If a goal turns out to be too ambitious, break it down further. The key is to keep moving forward, even if it's just one pebble at a time. Remember, every big accomplishment starts with a small step. So take that first small step today, and before you know it, you'll be standing at the top of that mountain, looking down at all the pebbles you've conquered along the way. Step 4. Prioritize your tasks. As we journey through life, we encounter a multitude of tasks, some urgent, some important, and others that are neither. The key to overcoming procrastination lies in learning how to prioritize these tasks effectively. Picture your tasks as a bunch of rocks, pebbles, and sand in a jar. If you don't prioritize correctly, you'll find the jar overflows, leaving you overwhelmed. Now, let's introduce you to a strategy to help you manage this. A strategy known as the Eisenhower box method. This method, named after the 34th President of the United States, Dwight D. Eisenhower, is a simple yet effective tool for prioritizing tasks. Eisenhower once said, "What is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important." This notion is the foundation of the Eisenhower box. The Eisenhower box consists of 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1 is for tasks that are urgent and important, things you must do immediately. Quadrant 2 is for tasks that are important but not urgent. These should be scheduled for later. Quadrant 3 contains tasks that are urgent but not important. These can be delegated to others. Finally, Quadrant 4 holds tasks that are neither urgent nor important. These should be dropped. By using this method, you can categorize each task, determining its importance and urgency. This allows you to focus on what truly needs your immediate attention, preventing you from wasting time on less important tasks. Remember, not all tasks are created equal. Some are crucial to your goals and should be given priority, while others are merely distractions. Prioritizing helps you discern between the two, guiding your focus towards what is truly significant. This way, you spend your time wisely, making each moment count. So the next time you're faced with a mountain of tasks, don't let panic set in. Instead, prioritize. Use the Eisenhower box to help you decide what needs your attention now and what can wait. Prioritizing helps you focus on what truly matters, reducing procrastination. Step 5, break your tasks down. Now, this isn't about becoming a master chef and chopping up your tasks into a fine julienne, but it is about slicing them up into manageable, bite-sized portions. Imagine you have a colossal pizza in front of you. Trying to eat it in one go seems impossible, right? But cut that pizza into slices, and suddenly it's not so overwhelming. Each piece becomes a challenge you can handle, one delicious bite at a time. The same principle applies to tasks. When faced with a big task, our instinct is often to avoid it, to procrastinate because it seems too daunting. But breaking it down into smaller tasks helps us see it as something achievable. It's no longer a mountain to climb, but a series of steps we can take at our own pace. Think about it this way. If you're tasked with writing a book, the thought of producing hundreds of pages can be enough to make you put it off indefinitely. But if you break it down, focusing on writing just one page a day, it becomes manageable. And before you know it, those single pages add up to a complete manuscript. As Mark Twain once said, the secret of getting ahead is getting started. And the easiest way to get started is by tackling smaller tasks that contribute to the overall goal. It's less intimidating, and it gives us a sense of accomplishment that fuels our motivation to keep going. So, the next time you find yourself avoiding a task because it seems too big, break it down. Divide it into smaller tasks that you can handle and start with the first one. You'll be surprised at how much easier it is to get started and keep going when you're not overwhelmed by the enormity of the task. And remember, it's okay to take it one step at a time. It's not about how fast you can get it done, but about making consistent progress. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, but they were laying bricks every hour. The final step, reward yourself. Rewards, my friends, are the sweet nectar of triumph. They are the pat on the back that tells us, you've done well, keep going. They are the carrots dangling before us, spurring us onward and upward. Now you might be wondering, why are rewards so important? Let's take a moment to learn from Charles Duhigg, a Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter and author of the bestseller, The Power of Habit. Duhigg has discussed extensively about the role of rewards in habit formation. According to him, rewards are critical components of what he calls the habit loop, which is a cycle of cue, routine, and reward. In the context of overcoming procrastination, the cue could be a task that needs to be done, the routine is the process of doing it, and the reward is what we give ourselves after we've completed the task. It's a simple yet powerful model. Rewards have the power to reinforce the desire to complete a task. When we reward ourselves for completing a task, we associate that task with a positive outcome, which in turn motivates us to do it again in the future. Essentially, we're tricking our brains into liking something that we previously found tedious or intimidating. Clever, isn't it? But what kind of rewards should we give ourselves? Well, the beauty of this is that it's entirely up to you. It could be taking a break to read a chapter of your favorite book, going for a run, having a piece of dark chocolate, or even just a few minutes of quiet meditation. The key is that it should be something that you genuinely enjoy and that makes you feel good. Remember, the reward doesn't have to be grand. It's not about the size or the cost, but about the value it brings to you. It's about recognizing your efforts and celebrating your progress, no matter how small. In the end, the reward system is not just about getting tasks done. It's about building sustainable habits that lead to long-term success. It's about making the process enjoyable so that we're motivated to keep going, even when the going gets tough. Rewarding yourself makes the journey enjoyable and the destination achievable. Before we wrap up, remember to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification button to stay updated on more self-improvement content. We've journeyed through the terrain of overcoming procrastination, from unraveling its mysterious nature, acknowledging its presence in our lives, to understanding the why behind it. We've set realistic goals, prioritized our tasks, and learned the art of breaking them down into manageable pieces. And let's not forget the cherry on the cake, rewarding ourselves for our achievements. Each step is a powerful tool, not just in theory, but in practice. So apply these steps one at a time in your day-to-day life. Witness the transformation, feel the surge of productivity, and embrace the satisfaction of accomplishment. As Mark Twain once said, the secret of getting ahead is getting started. So start today, overcome procrastination, and unlock your potential. Until next time, keep growing,